Hello students, I welcome you all to this YouTube channel Omkar English Classes, and this video is part 6 of the chapter of Vistas the Enemy. So students, don't forget to subscribe this channel. Let's start the explanation. This man, he thought, there is no reason under heaven why he should live. Unconsciously, this thought made him ruthless and he proceeded swiftly. In his dream the man moaned, but Sadao paid no heed except to mutter at him. "Groan," he muttered, "groan if you like. I am not doing this for my own pleasure. In fact, I do not know why I am doing it." The door opened and there was Hannah again. "Where is the anesthetic?" she asked in a clear voice. Sadao motioned with his chin. "It is as well that you came back," he said. "This fellow is beginning to stir." She had the bottle and some cotton in her hand. "But how shall I do it?" she asked. "Simply saturate the cotton and hold it near his nostrils," Sadao replied without delaying for one moment the intricate detail of his work. "When he breathes badly, move it away a little." She crouched close to the sleeping face of the young American. It was a piteously thin face, she thought, and the lips were twisted. The man was suffering whether he knew it or not. Watching him, she wondered if the stories they heard sometimes of the sufferings of the prisoners were true. So he was just like a dead person, that American. Sadao thought that there was no reason for him to make effort to save the man because there was no reason for him to live. इसका जिंदा रहने का कोई कारण नहीं है, क्यों जिंदा रहे ये दिमाग में ये ख्याल भी आते जा रहे हैं सदाओ के. Sadao became merciless and started working fast. बड़ी तेज काम करना शुरू किया उसने. The injured man moaned in his state of unconsciousness, but Sadao kept on working without paying attention to the man's pain. Sadao said to the injured man that he was free to cry in pain. चिल्लाओ भाई और चिल्लाओ, दर्द हो रहा है तो. Sadao was not concerned that the man was in pain. He did not want to operate him and did not have any reason for doing so. Hannah entered the room and asked Sadao for the anesthetic which she had to administer to injure the man. Her voice was clear, which shows that now she was prepared to help him. Sadao moved his chin to guide her to the bottle of anesthetic. He added that it was good that she came as the man had started to gain consciousness and it was important to sedate him. Hannah held the bottle and some cotton in her hands. She asked what she was supposed to do. He told her to put some anesthetic on the cotton and to place the cotton near the man's nostrils. He did not stop his delicate work and added that she should remove the cotton when the man started to breathe badly. William tried to ward off the fear but was unable to get rid of it. They came like flickers of rumor, told by word of mouth and always contradicted. In the newspapers, the reports were always that wherever the Japanese armies went, the people received them gladly, and cries of joy at their liberation. But sometimes she remembered such men as General Takima, who at home beat his wife cruelly, though no one mentioned it now that he had fought so victorious a battle in Manchuria. If a man like that could be so cruel to a woman in his power, would be Would he not be cruel to one like this, for instance? She hoped anxiously that this young man had not been tortured. It was at this moment that she observed deep red scars on his neck just under the ear. Those scars, she murmured, lifting her eyes to Sadao. But he did not answer. At this moment, he felt the tip of his instrument strike against something hard, dangerously near the kidney. All thought left him. He felt only the purest pleasure. He probed with his fingers delicately, familiar with every atom of this human body. His old American professor of anatomy had seen to that knowledge, ignorance of human body is the surgeon's cardinal sin, sirs. He had thundered at his classes year after year. So students, Hannah sat in a squat and went close to the face of the sleeping American man. She felt sad and sympathetic towards him. As she saw his thin face and twisted lips, she knew that he was suffering. She wondered whether the stories that she had heard about the torture meted out to the prisoners were true. The stories were like rumors which spread when people told them to others. On the other hand, in the printed media like the newspapers, it was mentioned that Japanese army was welcomed wherever it went and people praised it for their freedom. Hana recalled an officer of the Japanese army, General Takima, who was cruel to his wife and would beat her. No one talked about it anymore as he had won the war in Manchuria. Hana thought that if a man could be cruel towards his wife, then he could also be cruel to the prisoners in his captivity. Hana hoped that the man had not been tortured by the army. Just then she saw deep red colored injury mark on his neck, under the ear. Hana mentioned the scars to Sadao and asked about them. Sadao did not answer. At that moment, the tip of his instrument hit something hard. उसका इंस्ट्रूमेंट किसी हार्ड चीज पे जाके लगा ऑपरेट करते हुए. It was bullet. It was very close to the kidney. Sadao was not thinking of anything else. He was happy to have finally found the bullet. He moved his fingers inside the wound. Sadao was familiar with the tiniest part of the human body, that is kidney. His professor of anatomy in America had told them that if a surgeon ignored the knowledge of any part of the body, it was the first misdeed that he had committed. To operate upon a body without detailed knowledge of it, as much as the person who has would amount to committing murder of that body. Sadao's professor would repeat these words in his class often. To operate without as complete knowledge of the body as if you had made it anything less than that is murder. It is not quite at the kidney, my friend, Sadao murmured. It was in his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. वो बात किया करता था पेशेंट से ऑपरेट करने के दौरान, चाहे पेशेंट को होश है या नहीं है. My friend, he always called his patients, and so now he did, forgetting that this man was his enemy. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise of incisions, the bullet was out. The man quivered, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. Guts, he muttered, choking. They go to my guts. Sadao. Hannah cried sharply. Shh, Sadao said. The man sank again into silence so profound that Sadao took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. Yes, there was still a pulse so faint, so feeble, but enough. If he wanted the man to live, to give hope. But certainly I do not want this man to live, he thought. No more anesthetic, he told Hannah. He turned as swiftly as through as though he had never paused, and from his medicines he chose a small vial and from it filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. So Sadao would speak to the injured man. He said that the bullet had just missed his kidney. When Sadao would get engrossed in the operation, he would start talking to the patient. He addressed that patient as my friend. उसको my friend कह के बोला करता था वो. He called the injured man also my friend. He forgot that this man was not a friend but an enemy. Sadao was quick. He made a few surgical cuts on the body and removed the bullet. The man trembled in pain but remained unconscious. He spoke a few words in English which were an expression of the pain that he was experiencing. The injured man choked and said, "Guts, they got my guts." He meant that he was brave and courageous, and the Japanese army would have a tough time while punishing him. Upon hearing him, Hana cried out to Sadao. Sadao hushed her to keep quiet. The man became so quiet that Sadao held his wrist to check his heartbeat. He was checking if the man was still alive. His pulse was there, although it was very weak. Sadao thought that it was enough for a person who had desired to live. There was still hope that the man would survive. Sadao was sure that he did not want the man to live. वो चाहता भी नहीं था कि ये बचे, लेकिन फिर भी उसका ऑपरेशन किया उसने. और Sadao stopped Hana from administering anesthetic और anesthesia नहीं देना इसको, बेहोशी नहीं देनी है. He turned quickly and chose a small bottle from the medicines. He filled a syringe with the medicine and pushed the vaccine into the man's left arm. Students, thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this channel and press the bell icon if not pressed. Students, one by one and slowly I will prepare important videos on this YouTube channel to make you understand more and more about grammar. Further, I will also explain many types of grammar topics like passive voice, indirect speech, prepositions, modals, etc. You will find more and more. Thank you. Have a nice day.